for attending our regular board meeting for the Board of Supervisors. If you'd all please, as you can, rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Next item on the agenda is to approve the meeting minutes dated January 13th, 2026.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the previous meeting's minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same side. Motion carries. Item 4, it would be to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second on today's agenda.
I'm so sorry. I jumped the gun. I would like to rescind my motion, and that's okay with you, Bob. And motion to approve the agenda with item 16 removed.
Change the wording on 17.
I talked with Darren on this a little bit. If we don't do something, the contract will be over with. So instead of doing that, make the motion to extend the contract for 3 months. The current contract for 3 months on number 16, and that way we'll still have a animal control out there. And
So-
that way we'll be able to get the other concerns for the new contract or do a new contract.
Change the word year in 17 to months.
And extension instead of renewal, which I think is close enough.
Do we-
to modify it without,
Do you modify it there, or do we approve the agenda and modify it on that item?
you could do it either way. I mean, you could move to modify it when we get to 16, or you could move to adopt the entire agenda with the modification. Either way would be fine.
Again. And motion to approve agenda.
I'll second that.
I have a motion to approve today's agenda. Second. Any questions or comments on the agenda?
But we're still removing 16.
No,
No, we'll come to 16.
He's going to modify
We'll
16.
modify 16.
Isn't he modifying 17? We want to remove 16 and modify 17, right? Or I have a different one.
No.
I have 16 as of,
Thank you, Jamie.
I
This is all
like
on me,
3
then,
of 'em.
guys. My apologies.
All right, so motion and a second to approve today's agenda. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
All opposed, same nay. Motion carries. Next, I'd seek a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Oh, second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6, approve and authorize to pay McClure for professional services on Webster County CN and UPRR rail spur, $10,950.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments on item 6? All those in favor say aye.
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 Both same sign. Motion carries. Item 7, accept and approve the purchase of a 2025 Ford F-150 XLT truck from Fort Dodge Ford in the amount of $22,084 after trade-ins of older vehicles. The original price was $47,983. Attached is the purchase order from Fort Dodge Ford dated January 13th, 2026. Funds will be used from our new vehicle account. So the 2025 Ford F-150 bids collected were Stivers Ford of Des Moines at $51,194. Auto Trader Des Moines, $55,078. Fort Dodge Ford for Fort Dodge, $47,983, with trade-in values of a 2021 Cherokee at $13,524, 2021 Charger at $4,495, 2019 Charger $6,825, 2017 Explorer, $1,235 for a total trade-in value of $26,079.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments?
Morning, Luke Fleener, Webster County Sheriff. Just a piece of information on this item. This is a detective vehicle for our CID division. Our plan initially was to try to accomplish getting a newer vehicle for that detective in the 26-27 budget. But this opportunity presented itself and they're willing to take some of our older patrol vehicles in on trade. So we were able to squeeze this in this budget. I think that'll help ease the burden on next year's. One less thing that we have to try to work out.
Thank you.
And we're able to do this without an amendment, so there isn't any change to anything in our budget.
Very good.
Thanks for doing that.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 8, adopt resolution number 2026-05, a construction evaluation resolution allowing the Board of Supervisors to adopt a construction evaluation resolution relating to the construction of a confinement feeding operations structure.
I'll move number 8.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions and comments?
Basically, this is the master matrix. It goes on the agenda every year. It's just getting our approval that they will run everything when it comes to the hog confinements through us first, even though we really don't have any say on it. At least they'll give us the opportunity to know that that's what they're doing.
Thank you, Supervisor Thode. Any other questions or comments on this? All right, this is a roll call vote.
Vote aye.
Cochran, aye.
Conrad, I.
Ike, aye. Let the minutes reflect that it was a unanimous passage. Item 9, adopt resolution 2026-04 to revise the fiscal year 2026 county 5-year program.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion and a second. Questions and comments? You can state your name and department for us.
Jamie Joel, County Engineer. This revision to the county 5-year program is to add 2 projects. One of them, they're both short paving projects. One is 390th Street and Union Avenue down south of Dayton. It's a road leading to Hidden Acres Church Camp. And the other one is 160th Street on the north side of Harlan Rogers. And that is paving from the end of the existing pavement about 1.2 miles east to P59. It's just adding those 2 projects to the program.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this will be a roll call vote.
Vote aye.
Cochran, aye.
Conrad, I.
Ike, aye. Let the record reflect unanimous passage. Item number 10, approve a quote of $95,800 from Murphy Tractor and Equipment for one Deere 333P skid loader.
Mr. Chairman, I will move item 10.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Questions and comments on item 10? You state your name and department for the record.
Still Jamie Joel, County Engineer.
Bill?
Still, hopefully. So I also got quotes from Ziegler Caterpillar and Bobcat, and Murphy's was a low, and they have a high quality machine. If you have any specific questions about the machine itself, our sales rep Tanner Campen is here. He's with Murphy Equipment. Other than that, yeah, that was the low bid of $95,800. It was a very good price, and thank you, Tanner, for working with us on getting that price down.
Just replacing a machine or?
It was going to be, we have a 2001 Bobcat. That was originally the plan, but the road foreman asked if we could keep it because it's a lot smaller machine and it's our only wheeled skid loader, so it gets around in some tight spaces. So we're gonna just keep that, and that's the one that we keep stored down here downtown to help with snow removal.
Any other questions or comments on this? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 11, approved quote of $512,785.56 from Reese Truck and Trailer for 3 Mack truck chassis.
I'll move item 11.
Second.
Motion in a second. Questions or comments?
How far out are these going to be?
Probably at least a year. So this is just for the chassis. And the.
Could you
take
say your name and title, please?
Brian Joel, County Engineer.
Bill? That was different.
Sorry, I interrupted you. A year out.
Yeah, it could take up to a year to get these. And this is the chassis. Once we get them, then we send them to highway truck equipment for the upfitting, which can take another 3 to 6 months to do all 3 of them. And these will be replacing existing units. We got our trucks on a 16-year replacement schedule. We have 32 trucks, so we try and replace 2 a year. There's 3 in this bid because we did have one was wrecked. We bought the wrecked truck from the insurance company, and once these chassis come in, we'll take most of the equipment off of the wrecked truck and put it onto the new one. So that's why I don't have proposals for the upfitting on your agenda yet. They're still trying to determine the pricing to move all that equipment over, but on a future board agenda, I'll have that portion of it. So this is just for the chassis. It's in the FY27 budget.
As we look really closely at spending for future budgets, I just appreciate knowing that these are absolutely necessary purchases. So just keep that in mind when you come next time as well.
Anything else? All right, hearing nothing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 12. Approve updated. Oh, is that 11?
Title
6.
six.
Oh, X is 11. Sorry.
Your
Approved
mom,
title
your
six.
mom just looked at you like,
Shaking her head.
Approved Title VI standard assurances and the Title VI non-discrimination agreements.
so moved.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Once again, Jamie Joel, County Engineer. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act is what requires us to not biased on race, creed, color, national origin. So we're required to do this on any federal aid projects. So a couple of years ago, I was appointed the Title VI coordinator. And at that time, Nikki was the chairman of the board. And anytime we have a change in the chairman of the board, we just have to re-up these and basically just get your signature on them this time, Austin. So
Okay.
they're the exact same documents, just different signatures.
Any other questions or comments on it? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sorry.
Both same sign. Motion carries. So item 13, to approve agreement with Hidden Acres Christian Center for paving on 390th Street and Union Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions and comments?
Still me,
If you could state your name, please.
Jamie Joel, County Engineer. So one of the 2 projects we added in the earlier resolution was 390th Street and Union Avenue. Paving that road was requested by Hidden Acres Christian Center, and they agreed to pay a large portion of the costs. And this agreement is just guaranteeing that if they give us $500,000 in 2 equal payments, that we will pave that stretch of road. So thank you to Darren for writing up this agreement.
That circumstances change. There would no longer be maintaining this paved road or something, at least put an end date, so it's valid. We have to maintain the paved road. It's just to protect our interest on that.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments with that? I think this is just, I wanted to highlight, I think it's just a great example of a public and private partnership to accomplish a goal. So I think there's a lot of work put on by a lot of folks between you guys and Supervisor Montgomery and working with Hidden Acres that, you know, I think that highlights a great opportunity that was identified as well as a partnership to help accomplish the goal. So I appreciate everybody's work on that. So hearing no other questions or comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item 14, approve 2080 agreements with Lehigh and Moreland for the essential service funding is unintentionally admitted from the 2080 agreements previously approved.
Moved.
Seconded.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments on these? Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 15, approve the 2026 tax exempt status for wildlife habitat under SLU bill enacted in 1982, and further to approve the following applications for open prairie, rivers and streams, forest cover, recreation lakes, and residential wildlife habitat as exempt property per board resolution on April 12th, 1983, and receive and place on file native prairie tax exemptions.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments on this? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 16, approve a 3-year renewal of the animal control contract with Webster County Animal Protection LLC on the same terms as the original agreement entered on January 18th, 2022.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to approve with the changes of extending the current contract for 3 months. The reason for this is I was contacted by both the sheriff department and the police department, and they wanted some input on the terms of the contract. So extending it for 3 months will give them that opportunity to do that. And then if they don't get their issues worked out, then we can put it up for bid.
Okay. So the motion, just so we're clear, so the motion would be approve a 3-month renewal based on the last contract, which was, I
I
believe,
would
last.
say, change it to a 3-month extension. Control. That's the motion.
That's correct.
Supervisor Code wants to make.
Second.
A motion and a second. Questions and comments?
I just want to make sure that the person who's in charge of animal control is okay with this.
So right now, it's just to continue your current contract. I guess if you want to come up too, but right now, the motion would be to continue your current contract as is, discuss some of the terms in it and see what the outcome is after 3 months.
Thank you.
So any other questions or comments on that? So this would not be, just making sure, so this, because we did do an agreement in 23 or 4 where we made it and amended on the change. So this would be to follow whatever the current.
Yeah, as amended.
Okay.
Not going back to the original default terms, but
As I knew it got amended at some
as
point in
amended in
there.
23, which changed some of the terms, compensation, removed some obligations. But it would be under the current structure of the contract.
Should that be reflected in the motion as well
Yeah, it
then?
should say as amended, original agreement entered on January 18, 2022, as amended, would handle that.
Okay,
You have the amended
whatever,
motion.
whatever that amended to that, just.
I just
get it
knew
worked
we had that we had an amendment from the original, so I want to make sure we're not going back to basically cutting money.
out. Whatever Darren says, I'm good with.
Uh-oh.
So is that an amended motion then, or? Okay. And did you want to approve or amend your
I will
second?
amend my second.
Okay, so motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Good old Bob.
Call me.
All right. Hearing nothing, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 17, quality of life project update by Matt Cosgrove, Conservation Director. You could just state your name and department for us. That would be
Jamie
fantastic.
Joel.
Brian.
Do you want to, can you let me share my screen? Do you want to put it up there?
Yeah.
Hopefully we got this figured
Oh,
out.
you got this?
Matt Cosgrove, Conservation Director.
His name's on a big building.
It should say B.
Oh, here we go. Usually it doesn't take this long.
So you gonna set it up so he can share in the meeting?
Oh, hey, there it goes.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Wanted to give you an update, hopefully kind of the final last update. We talked about closing these projects out by 2025, and we were able to do that. But wanted to kind of give you a final wrap-up presentation on these projects. Supervisor Thode and Supervisor Conrad were the only two that are still with us as part of this process. So these discussions started a long time ago, but really back in 2017 and 2018, we did a fair amount of planning from a Parks, Recreation, and Facilities master planning and a hike and bike trail, Webster County biking and hiking plan for Webster County. So from that, discussions continued clear back to 2010. Iowa citizens approved what was called the Natural Resource and Outdoor Recreation Trust Fund, which was a state constitutional amendment creating a fund at the state level that would fund conservation, recreation, parks, water quality, soil health, a variety of things, and would produce about $2 million annually for those things. That fund has never been funded, so we've lost out on over $2 billion of funding at the state level for those things. So counties in the mid 2000s started taking things on their own. Johnson County, Polk County, as small as Adams County, I think maybe the smallest population county, started passing county bonds for these type of projects. Again, we started these conversations in really about 2020 when we were seeing 300% increases in use at our parks, our trails, our campgrounds. And out of that came an $11 million gift from this board to invest in Webster County's quality of life. And at that time, workforce was the driving force behind these investments and funded through the TIF program, tax increment financing, from additional tax money that was coming in off of the windmill projects and the ag park projects. So a little bit of history there to get where we're at today. And then we've been working since 2022. We were successful in receiving a $4 million Destination Iowa grant for these projects. So we packaged a handful of these things together to take that $11 million and expand upon that. So we partnered significantly with the city of Fort Dodge, obviously on the riverfront. They had already started a project down there called the Central River District Plan. They'd removed 2 dams and had created a master plan for that area down by the river to return our community back down to the river, since that's where our roots were established. So we worked with them to create our conservation environmental education facility, the River's Edge Discovery Center. named after me. Thank you. I've said it before somebody else. But really is to be a key for redevelopment, ecotourism, and a one-stop shop for conservation and recreation in Webster County, whether it be city, county, state, federal. They can come there and get information, and we can get people to the right place or park or whatever they're looking for. So with that, that was the first stage of development. You've probably seen the city of Fort Dodge has awarded the second stage of development, which is their large shelter pavilion project that'll be just downstream from us. I'll show you some pictures of some examples of that. But these were also some investments that the city and state and others had been investing in that river corridor as well. So there were 8 active projects that were going on as part of this redevelopment of our riverfront. So with that, here's the conceptual pictures that were put together as we started our fundraising campaign. Our nonprofit organization, the Friends of Webster County Conservation, had to raise $500,000 to meet that $4 million Destination Iowa grant, and they've raised almost $600,000 for that project. Most of that went into the exhibits that you see here on the inside, and then there's an actual picture of the real building instead of just the concept. In addition to that, we put together this concept of a Central River District campus, which is the area outside and around the building. So that's gathering space, a playscape, getting people back down to the water, trails, and a lot of places for people just to get, again, back close to the water. You can see the pictures on the right. Since the late 1800s, these were heavy industry. The site was heavy industry, and now we've returned it back to its natural setting. Here's some pictures of some green grass for those of you looking forward to that, since it's like 20 below outside right now. We're excited to actually start growing some stuff there this spring. We did wrap up the projects in late December, right before Christmas, for the second phase, which was this trail work, the playscape additions, the eagle sculpture that sits out front. There is the first stage of the playscape. We're hoping to add some additional stages this summer to expand upon that project. This was the last project, so unfortunately, as the other projects continued to go over budget, this is one that got cut, the playscape, that sort of thing. So this was a project, luckily, we got in right at the beginning of this. So when we applied for our funding, the city had not started any construction on their little dam project. So we were able to capture all of these funds for matching funds as part of the project, which, just made our project even bigger and allowed us to capture more money from that state Destination Iowa grant. Their project was the fishing jetties there after the removal. Again, the hiking bike plan was key in the other projects that were approved by this board. The connection to Badger, which was the highest recommended trail connection when we did this plan. And then 2 trails in Dayton and Gowrie, since they're our next population centers for workforce living. So you provided funding for those 2 communities to create a local trail committee, and they created a trail master plan for their communities. And then you implemented the first phase of development in those communities. So there's the 5-mile extension to Badger, setting us up for a connection to the Three Rivers Trail, which is about another 5 miles. We've started, we're working right now with Humboldt County on connecting that. That's 2 30+ mile systems. So you're 74, 75 miles, which puts us at, I think, at the 4th largest trail system in Iowa once those connections are made. So we've already lined up $750,000 in grant funding for that. I talked with the director in Humboldt County yesterday. He put some money in his budget request for some design work too. So hopefully we can continue to chip away at that project and try to get that connection. Really, once we get that done, the master plan for our trail projects for Fort Dodge and Webster County are fairly well completed at this point. So that will be a nice project to have wrapped up. And then we move more into a maintenance mode. There is the completed trail Badger, just by the winery there with the bridge over Soldier Creek. The Dayton project has morphed a little bit. Dayton received a Destination Iowa award as well. It was combined with ours. The county ran those projects, so they had a community center in addition to the trail project. So the trail project basically went from their downtown, connected their lower rodeo grounds, their upper rodeo grounds, the campground in Oak Park, and then the new community center at their golf course. It also made handicap accessibility a thing at the top of the arena, where it didn't exist before for the restrooms, and getting people with mobility issues into the arena and out as well. There's the community center building. I've not eaten there, but I've heard good things about their food, so I'd recommend stopping down there and checking that place out. And the Gallery Trail project, that was one that basically built a trail, and the first phase of it was from the northwest side of town to the northeast side of town. It ran through a property that the Conservation Board owns, Lindquist Wildlife Area. As part of this project, we'll be donating this property and the trail properties. I'm working with Darren right now to transfer the properties that we had to secure for the trail project and for this Lindquist Wildlife Area to the city of Dayton, or to the city of Gowrie. So the projects, here's kind of the budget, the nut and bolts, what things ended up costing. So of that $11 million, those project cost a little over $22 million. So we were able to take your money and leverage it by, again, another $11 million to complete those projects as we had described in Destination Iowa. So with that, this is where the funding came from, a little over $11 million from Webster County, the city of Fort Dodge, in their dam removal project, and their riverfront work is about $4 million. Federal funding was $4 million of that was the $4 million was the Destination Iowa grant that funneled through the state of Iowa, but was federal funding. That came available after the COVID funding came out. We also received about $1 million grant for the trail going to Badger. That was a special project, trail project that was awarded again through the state in response to trail use after COVID. I think there were 70 plus applications for that, and there were about 5 or 6 that were actually funded. So we were one of 5 or 6 funded in that round. State funding came from a variety of smaller Great Places, fish habitat, some water quality money. Private funding, again, over $600,000 there, and the city of Dayton for their community center project, and then their Enhance Iowa, or their Destination Iowa grant. So the return on that investment basically here locally looks like that. Of that $22 million, $15 million of that came back to local contractors and local companies. $5 million went to companies in Iowa, and $2.2 million went out of state. But of that 2.2, 1.6 went to the Interp company that did the interior exhibits at the Discovery Center out of Illinois. So bulk of the money of that 22 million was spent in Iowa, with the majority of it being spent here. So what's next? People always say, what's next? Shauna was hoping I was done. I'm sure this board was as well, but people just continue to want things, as you can imagine. So, and a lot of these projects continue to take, 3 to 5 years to develop. So the Central River District Phase 2 that the city just awarded, that's a project that's been in the works for a while. It has some Enhance Iowa money tied to it, and some county money, as we discussed at the budget hearing. 160th Street, as Jamie just mentioned, that's a paving project, not only of the road, but also to make that trail connection. And then, the Three Rivers Trail, I just talked about that as well. Hopefully we'll be successful in lining up state and federal funding, because we're connecting 2 such large systems. And then the Sunkist Meadows, that trail, they're putting in boat ramp improvements as a restroom, parking area, and a shelter down there as well, where they had the staging site for that bridge project. It was actually supposed to occur, but that was the staging site for that project. So this project's been delayed, but that's a city, county, and some state water trail money that's been put together for that project that should occur this year as well. So here's just some real quick concept pictures of what the city's project is going to look like just south of us. And this will wrap up the Central River District campus with this project. There's the 160th Street in concept, showing again the connection at Harlan Rogers. Again, the city's also expanding that facility for girls state softball. So this will be another entrance. So now there'll be an entrance to an exit to the north and out on Nelson Avenue, both of them being on paved roads. This will also serve, hopefully, if we can get it done in time, as a detour for the roundabout construction at 170th and Nelson as well. And then again, the Three Rivers Trail, this just shows a concept of how that connection can occur. It's basically a trail straight north out of Badger. And then there is the Sunkist Meadow improvements. So with that, on behalf of the Conservation Board and our staff and the citizens of Webster County, want to thank you for the investment that you've made, in these things and really the partnerships that we've had over the years, and glad to finally wrap these things up. As I told you before, we're still trying to get our money back, but that'll be the next process. But we do have all construction wrapped up as planned. So thanks for all your support.
Thank you, Matt.
It's been a team effort. Darren's been involved in a lot of this stuff. Jamie's been involved in it. The courthouse variety, everybody up here from paying bills and tracking down invoices and everything else. It's a huge team effort. Appreciate it.
I appreciate all the work that you and everybody, with your department, and with the association and everybody that's committed to improving. I know, I've seen some of the direct benefits. People have actually taken jobs here from out of state because of the quality of life projects that we have. So I hired somebody, and that's why they chose to come here. So
Thanks, everyone.
Matt.
thank you. All right. Up next would be the citizens' opportunity to address the board with items not on the agenda. None? Supervisors committee reports.
Last Friday, I was over in Eldora for the Central Iowa Juvenile Detention meeting. Everything's going very well. It was a 2-hour meeting instead of a 5-hour meeting, which was absolutely wonderful for a change. They have started through linking families to start getting the daycare that used to be the old Beckers. They're finally getting started on that project. So that one's going forward at this point. And other than that, so far things have been going good. We did budgets last week, or tried to get budgets last week. We're just still waiting on our legislators to see where we're going from there. So.
All right, Supervisor Cochran, I had CICS last week. They see that's the disability access point for physical disabilities. They seem to think things are going pretty well and that they're soft handoffs as they are now completely no longer doing mental health services. Have been pretty successful. We had a meeting for the landfill as well. There's going to be tonnage rate increases coming, just so you know. Next week, I will have Midas, and then Crime Stoppers should be coming up the week after that. And then other than that, I would just like to point out I'm in here in courthouse 8:30 to 10:30 every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you have anything you'd like to address the board with that we take no official action on.
Cool. As Supervisor Thode said, we had budget hearings last week. They were all recorded and put onto our social media on Facebook. So if you have an interest in watching them, that's where you can find them. Last Tuesday, I was invited to speak at the American Legion at the VFW, which was an honor and a pleasure. So I just wanted to thank everyone for that. Wednesday, we had our EMS Advisory Council meeting. We talked about 28Es. The EMS coordinator position is open and is up for applications. So please do take a look if you're interested in that. Coming up this Saturday, it has been rescheduled. The Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance is putting on their Eggs and Issues, the very first one of this legislative session. It's going to be at 8:30 at Iowa Central. And so just wanted to make sure folks were aware of that.
As supervisors stated, we had 3 half-days of budget workshops last week. I don't think people always understand how much goes into that from each department head and the time and effort it takes to, figure out their needs, what we need to budget for, where we need to go, take the time to come in and have these discussions. So I'm incredibly appreciative for all of our department heads and everybody that came in to help explain what they've worked through. Because we do have a great team here that put a lot of time and effort into doing it the right way here. And I'm very appreciative of that. Also appreciative of our budget and finance director and the effort to help connect everybody with that, get our scheduling done for it, get these workshops on. There's a lot of work that goes on in the background to get ready for that. So I just want to say thank you to everybody in the county that helps put that together. So I really appreciate that. Last week for boards and commissions, I also had a Beaver Creek watershed meeting. We're continuing to work on some projects on buffer strips and batch and build projects that we're working on. There's going to be a lot more outreach opportunities in terms of water quality. That watershed, we've done all of the ones that I'm a part of. We've done a great job, but Beaver Creek has done an exceptional job there to help outreach in our community and get engagement from our growers. So there's lots of opportunities out there. So it's exciting to see some of the water quality projects we're going to be working on this year. So I'll be sharing more of that as we go through. But nothing else with that. We'll have our Growth Alliance meeting, city, county next week. And that is all I have. So, Shauna? Darren?
The only thing I have is next week on Thursday, I'll be going to the state capitol for County Attorney's Day at the Capitol. I've talked last week with Representative Meyer. We always get together and talk a little bit about issues of importance. And now that I'm the president of the association, I'm kind of leading the delegation of county attorneys from across the state that'll get a chance to, at 7 a.m., have breakfast with our representatives and talk with the various committees. And then we get a chance to attend a couple of legislative sessions, which is kind of fun. So.
Congratulations, by the way.
Not hearing anything else. Next, I would seek to allow claims.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions or comments on claims? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion carries. Last item up for today is adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions or comments before we conclude today's meeting? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.